Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tango. I'm Renaka.
I'm Rishizi.
And this is our second stream. The first one you might not have seen because it wasn't recorded because of a mistake on our part.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw our first stream, so it was really cool just talking to ourselves in here.
Exactly, but if you did, thank you, congratulations. You win a free t-shirt to be given an unspecified date.
We don't have t-shirts yet,
exactly.
But when we do, you'll be the first to get one if you watched it.
If you come out, but it's okay because you won't even get to see the first t-shirt.
There you go, that's how it works.
It's not printed. But anyway, all right, so a little bit of intro since this is going to be our first recorded stream. We are Two to Tango. I'm Renaka.
And I'm still Rishizi.
Exactly. And what we're going to be doing is pretty much every week, hopefully 8, maybe probably 9.
Yeah, we started with the intention of doing 8 p.m. every night, or every Monday night. And it was the second time in a row we've hit 9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly, right. But we're going to be talking about kind of what's happened the week in esports.
Esports, technology,
games, anything that can be described as the
in
technology
realm,
sector, maybe sometimes entertainment as we might see today.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just going to give our opinions as consumers, as content creators, as people in general.
Yeah, mostly what we are,
exactly.
Consumers and people.
But that's pretty much that. We might also have some individual streams.
Yeah, we're planning on getting once get the ball rolling, kind of like doing daily streams individually. Just like we'll probably be playing together, But
yeah, pretty much.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, you'll get to see me suck at CS:GO and Rishizi suck at Dota.
Yeah, there you go. That's how it works.
But nonetheless, that's pretty much what we do. We'd like to see everyone here Monday night. Enjoy us. Let us enjoy you.
I want all of you.
Exactly.
I want all of you inside.
Exactly.
My
stream. Not in a not in a responsible way. We're talking about a very sexual way here.
There you go. Very sexual. Just want juices flowing.
Exactly. The guy at Best Buy who sold us our webcam asked if we were doing porn.
We said yes.
So, but enough talking about a $6,500 computer.
Let's go and jump into this.
Exactly. So, bam, we'll make it real professional right here.
There you go. That's how it's done.
I want to talk a bit about Dota 2. We had our next balance patch recently, the 6.83 patch. Personally, I don't feel qualified talking about a lot of the stuff.
I don't feel qualified talking about Dota in general.
I'm not a pro player, so I can't give you my professional opinion since I am not a pro. But what I can talk about is Valve has been adding alt clicking to pretty much everything. And if I bring up the Dota 2 website right here, let's see if I have. Come on now. Oh,
sorry. This is still new for us.
We're getting there. Duel with info. There we go. That's what we like to see. Wow, look at how slowly that is loading. Dropping 6,000 frames. That's fun. Oh, we're constantly dropping.
It's just because
It's because it's loading.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things that you can do on this page is that you can alt-click pretty much everything. But cool. Yeah. By the way, it's really interesting that they're bringing up alt-clicking because I think that one of the beneficial things about Dota is with alt-clicking, you're kind of eliminating a lot of the language barrier whenever you first get into Dota, right? If you have members of different countries,
nationalities,
exactly,
in your team
playing with you,
which is frustrating sometimes.
Everyone knows it can be frustrating, but with alt-clicking, all you do is you click on an element of the UI with an alt-click, and it tells information about that element, and it's translated for everyone to their to their language of choice. And I think that's a really good thing to be doing with Dota, just because one of the problems is that language barrier, and it's helping to alleviate it. But I'm always interested because it's a little bit harder to do that in a game like CS:GO or in other games in general.
Yeah.
Just personally, whenever I'm solo queuing on Dota, I'm a lot less likely to use my microphone than I am on something like CS:GO, just because it's not. One, because I can't alt-click and because it's not that necessary. But I mean, something like CS:GO, where
yeah, I mean, also I feel like the situation of like getting people on your team who don't speak the same language as you isn't as big as a problem in CS:GO as it is in Dota, which happens pretty frequently in Dota.
Yeah.
And it's only happened to me like maybe once or twice in in CS:GO.
Right.
And even then, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
People still know calls.
And that's kind of an interesting thing. Is that CS:GO hasn't really been picked up outside of like North American and Eastern Europe necessarily. I know Russians play.
Yeah, there's
right?
there's some big Russian teams or coming up Russian teams,
right?
And, Germany and stuff.
But you don't see Asia. You don't see really South America as much. I don't think.
At least not like a professional scene,
right? But yeah, I do think it's interesting, and I am very appreciative of Valve for adding in the ability to alt-click stuff, just because that's really good at alleviating, like I said, that the problem that is trying to communicate, because there's a lot of different individual things that you might need to communicate in a given game of Dota. It's a little bit harder to say, all right, we need to go smoke gank, we need to kill someone, and then we need to push this lane and make sure you have all the other lanes pushed out first.
Yeah.
Than it is to say, let's go to heaven, or some like, hey, he's ready or something like that.
Yeah.
But one thing that they have done with the FPS games is you have the the quick chats.
The
XCV.
Yeah, the radio chats or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I've seen people use that, and it's not as effective, but I mean
it's helpful.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mainly what I wanted to bring up about 6.83. They added a couple of heroes to captain's mode, so we'll see how that throws down in the pro series. In the professional level, I don't think many people are expecting to make that big of a splash, but they did change Lifestealer, and they took him out because now he can take control of creeps and make them run around and do his bidding. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
That's fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll head on over to the other side, CS:GO.
Yeah, so I really wanted to touch base with the newest CS:GO update, and I know it's a little late. We're about 2 or 3 weeks. I think 2 weeks out from the latest CS:GO update. But a lot of the things they changed were consequences of DreamHack winter results, and how Valve does most of their things, or at least the CS:GO development team changes the updates based on what they call like pro player feedback.
Right, and they do that with Dota too. I mean, you pretty much after every major tournament, you'll see either a big number patch or like a B patch.
Yeah.
But it's good that they do that.
Yeah. So the update added Train, a revamped version of Train.
Beautiful.
It's just all new textures.
Right.
They it's all redesigned. With the same classic calls. Excuse me. You still have like your Ivy and all the layout of the map is the same, just different textures and whatnot.
Right.
But it's a very, very nice looking map. I like it a lot, and I'm hoping that it's going to make a comeback into the competitive pool, just because it's such a nice map. Like personally, I'm not a big fan of like Overpass and stuff like that.
Right.
I think Train, like the new Train, is going to be great. You can see the A side is totally revamped. It's much, there's a lot more space and not as much places to hide.
It's a lot cleaner. That's what I like seeing about these new updates with Season and Train. It's a lot cleaner looking, and not. I don't mean they took a sponge and cleaned stuff up, but I mean it's there's not as much random junk that's kind of in the way. I think
it makes for a lot better gunfights.
Yeah,
and also I feel like. I'm not sure if it's just by coincidence of the games I've been playing, but I feel like the map may be the slightest bit more balanced in terms of like CT-sidedness to C-sidedness.
Right.
One of the first games I played on Train was with Zach, and we started T-side and we went like 13-2 T-side.
Yeah.
So and I might have been luck of the draw or something, but most games I've played I've had fairly good T-sides. So I'm not sure if it's just like a new map or if I'm just like getting lucky every game.
Yeah.
But it feels to me, based on my experience, and this doesn't stand for everybody, but playing T-side is a lot easier now just with some of the new opportunities in the map.
I think it's a hard thing to balance a CS:GO map because so much of the strategy is based on the map.
Mm-hmm.
With Dota you have the heroes and stuff, but the map is always the same. But CS:GO, the strategy comes into the map, and I think is Dust 2 one of the most balanced maps. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's like pretty much 50-50.
It's supposed to be like more T-sided.
Right.
I know maps like Cache are supposed to be like. I think Cache is the most balanced map there is.
Really?
Yeah, I may be speaking on my ass here, but
right.
I think it is stuff like that. But I feel like it is it is a bit odd to try to balance a map like that, just because in terms of like economy, terrorists, the T side have it a little bit easier. Their weapons are cheaper, like the AK,
right?
Like one of the best guns in the game, and it's
cheaper,
and it's I think like $400 cheaper, than an M4 now, or either M4 now,
right?
And stuff like that. It's easier to be a terrorist, which is why I think a lot of maps seem a little more like layout wise T-sided, just because the economy is a lot harder to build up on the CT side,
right? But yeah, I definitely like the new look of Train. I definitely like these the return to more colorful maps. Just because, obviously you need to focus on the game, but it's nice to be able to look at the maps and appreciate them.
Yeah. And with the talk of the the guns and stuff, I want to talk about the recent change to the M4A1.
Right.
More specifically, the price increase from $29 to $31. Right.
Yeah. $200. What's all that?
It's $200.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an aid. The biggest, and this is coming from my own experience within the game.
Right.
The biggest thing for me is that we got a price increase without
any trade-off.
Right. The thing with M4A1 is yes, it was cheaper, but because it was cheaper, we had to sacrifice more. We had to sacrifice the ammo.
Yeah.
And the clips are smaller in the M4A1. Instead of being 30, they're 20. And you also have
less reserve.
Yeah. So that was one of the big things I don't understand is why would you change the price without some type of trade off? Other than the fact the gun is silenced, I think would be the only reason, the only justification for that. But even then, that just having a silenced gun is different. I do believe the M4A1S is better than the M4A4.
Right.
But I feel like the price increase was, I don't want to say unwarranted,
and
just it should. I think there should have been something, like another another card dealt.
Was this a? Do you think this was because of the recent DreamHack?
Yeah, there were. I don't forget what the stats were, but there were like 3 times more M4A1 kills than M4A4. Like it was like 75-25, like something like that. It was more than a majority more.
So they just wanted to relatively straight up nerf it, kind of.
Speaking of nerfing, we can talk about that big CZ nerf.
Right.
Oh my god.
Light it up.
Okay, so the CZ, I agree. The CZ was too overpowered. It was way too overpowered, especially for people on eco. Like it was just too strong.
Right.
It was way overpowered. People can literally win eco rounds or like kill an entire team with one round. Or like 12 bullets from a CZ, like B tons pushing out to B site and Dust 2,
Yeah.
But now, the CZ nerf, I just feel like, the biggest problem I have is the draw animation. And I understand the gun isn't supposed to be like a primary gun or whatever. It's, it's a backup gun. It's a secondary gun.
Right.
But I feel like the draw animation is just way too long.
Right.
It's like, I think it's like twice the speed.
But when are you going to pull out your backup gun? When you're
in an emergency.
Yeah, when you're under fire.
Yeah, and the fact that you can't pull it out quick enough, is really, to me, it bothers, because as, like, I like to op a lot, and as an opper, like, sometimes people, will rush you, and, like, you can't, like, scope somebody through, like, right in front of you. You want to back up a little bit, get around the corner, pull out your pistol, and, like, tear them up.
Yeah.
And with, with the CZ, you can't do that anymore, Not to mention, they changed the kill reward from $300 a kill to 100. So even using a CZ on an eco, there's no point in using it,
Right.
And that, the only justification is that, excuse me, if you're using a CZ on an eco, it's to pick up a gun.
Right.
That's the only way it can be justified. Is like, oh yeah, you have a stronger gun. It's gonna give you less money, but you're gonna have more success,
Right.
in picking up a primary weapon such as an AK or or whatever.
Did they reduce the primary clip?
It's to 8 now.
It's to 8.
So a third.
Yeah.
They took off a third, or I think whatever, or a fourth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's one of the biggest problems I have, and even, I mean, I think just the kill reward alone, because like it's not even worth using the CZ anymore. I'll switch back to the 5.7 or whatever,
Right.
or pistol round or second round. I'll buy a P250 on Eco instead. P250s are usually one click to the head, like
right.
And I don't know, I think it's like 13 bullets, in each clip
a
or whatever.
lot better of value.
Yeah, and the kill reward is still much higher than the CZ.
Right.
So I feel like the CZ isn't really a viable option now, just for anyone in general, which really sucks. I love the CZ, and I love when they introduced it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. And granted, I'm still fairly new to CS:GO, and the fact that we were seeing new things happening, especially for me, someone who came from games like Call of Duty and stuff, where like
once the game's out,
there wasn't much interaction.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool, and it's kind of sad to see kind of like one of the preferred guns I use kind of like be sent away. But
yeah, I mean that's the deal with cards. We'll see if Valve changes it later, based on pro recommendations. But it's good that they do take pro recommendations, because I think that's where the money of these new games is coming out.
Yeah, I mean you have to, because to be honest, if you have these pro players who have suggestions for your game and do all this stuff, and they're finding ways to make the game better, and it's not being implemented, you're not going to keep your scene growing and developing.
Right.
People are going to start resenting what's happening.
Yeah, especially nowadays, where with CS:GO, with Dota, and with League, with StarCraft, with Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of the money coming into these games, I feel, is due to esports, because you're getting, they're helping get that brand out.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, not even like, I don't want esports, but just the community as a whole. I mean, which we can refer to as esports, but the community as a whole. When you have things like like forums and like Reddit, things like that. I mean, like everything I've seen, Counter-Strike or Dota or League or anything like that has originated on like a subreddit of some sort, or some website, and people making suggestions and stuff being added and implemented into games and stuff. I think the fact that we have games based on community and based on community preference is really cool. And I think that's that's what keeps stuff growing, is that people are allowed to say, hey Valve, or hey Riot, whoever, here are some suggestions. As a community, we have to make this game better for us. I think it's cool stuff that is implemented.
I think that's necessary, and I think that's good, because that's relatively a change that I think is rather hard for Valve.
Yeah,
just the non-communicative folks they are, but they're not necessarily non-communicative. They don't want to say anything before they're ready. They don't say anything
before they're ready.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's a game that a lot of that's a game that a lot of, or a stance that a lot of game makers should take, because recently, we've been seeing these games being delayed multiple times, sometimes not released at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes released in poor condition.
Yeah. Talking about going toward the delayed game route. Most recently, The Witcher 3, which I think, if I'm correct, is by CD Projekt, the company or the studio, whoever's making it. The Witcher 3 being delayed. I think, is it again?
Again. I think it's, it might be again.
Again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, The Witcher 3 being delayed. Tom Clancy's The Division being delayed.
Right. Games that should have been delayed. Unity.
Right. So in this industry, there you have like two evils. They're both. You either have putting out a game such as Assassin's Creed Unity, which I'm. The PC port had problems. The PS4 had problems. I'm not sure about the Xbox One, but I know at least those two had problems.
Right.
And if your game requires a day one patch when it comes out, it shouldn't have come out.
Right.
I understand that there are
deadlines
and whatnot, or like, as opposed to having like a team of game testers playing your game, as opposed to millions of people playing your game and discovering these new bugs and stuff.
Right.
But I feel like day one patch should be warranted, and I feel like the industry is so set on releasing, hey, here's our AAA game this year. We have one.
Yeah.
We have a AAA game every year. Heck, even Assassin's Creed has. I think they came up with 2 new Assassin's Creeds this year.
Yeah.
One for like the older gen consoles and one for this console.
And I mean, I think part of the problem is, they try and meet these deadlines with no regard for their brand image. We live in the internet age now, as much as old people don't like to believe it, but the reason that we're seeing a lot of forms of media start getting advertised earlier and earlier is because the internet has made information spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is not it's not something that you really want to mess with, just because, like, the movie Annie, right? It just came out recently, but I feel like it's been advertised for forever. I feel like it's been advertised for almost a year now, right?
Yeah.
But and I'm just tired of it. I don't care to see it. If it had come out earlier, maybe I'd pay an interest to it. But currently, no. But we see a movie like Interstellar. I saw the ad for Interstellar when I went to go watch Rise of the Guardians, and I'm like, wow, that's a good movie. I'm kind of interested in seeing it. Oh, it's coming out next month. Whoa, this is the first time that I had ever heard of it. And the reason that they do that now is because information spreads like wildfire. So you see Interstellar, and they give it a month for everyone to hype it up. But then that month is ready and it's ready to release, and it hasn't died down at that point because with currently you have this major ability to hype insanely quickly with social media and just the general interactiveness of the
communities
that
play all these games. Yeah.
But once that hype is dead, fat chance of getting it back.
Yeah, and that's one thing I see with a lot of AAA games is, I mean, especially for me, like, it's really hard for me to stay involved with something that kind of loses, like, it doesn't give me a reason to be interested.
Right.
So, like, I mean, every year I know that a new Call of Duty is coming out.
Right.
Every year, and like I don't know the newest Call of Duty. Like,
don't know what its name. Don't know what it's gonna have in it.
Yeah, and people know like 8 months in advance. Oh, it's a new Call of Duty coming out. Blah blah blah. Like, I don't see like the hype in that. Especially when I can't say the new Call of Duty, but most the older Call of Duties, like, they were a lot of the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we see in AAA games now.
Right.
Assassin's Creed has been the same.
Pretty
every
much.
year.
Pretty much.
We got Black Flag. You have boats now. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's a lot of the same things with new features, but it's all repetitive in a sense of, like,
pretty much.
Here's our new game.
That's why I really appreciate what Valve has done with Dota, with CS:GO. You don't see them working on a new feature until they say, "Hey, by the way, this is a new feature that's going to be released in 3 days."
Yeah.
And same thing with even Overkill Software with Payday. I learned that there was a new Payday heist coming out 3 days before it was going to come out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. We live in a generation where it's I want it now, and people are starting to step up and deliver for that.
Yeah, and I think that's more effective though.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, we don't.
I mean, in a sense of business practice, in any sense of business practice, I mean, as a business person, you don't want. You want someone to see your product and go, wow, that looks cool. When can I get it?
Exactly.
And if you have a big gap between, hey, look at my product, and hey, you can buy it now, as opposed to, hey, look at my product and you can buy it right now, or you can buy it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that's a different business practice.
Yeah. And it's beneficial not only for consumers but for the developers. I mean, as a developer, you don't have to guarantee a release date. You just work on the project in silent. And then, hey, guess what? Here's a new game, and everyone's gonna go crazy over it.
See, a lot of the problem is that these big companies, I mean, from my point of view, is I see that a lot of these companies kind of have to work with a budget of
right.
I mean, of course they have a budget, but I feel like the reason why we have so many of these games, like these 8-minute game shows to come out or blah blah, 6 months before the games are released. Is so companies like Ubisoft, or I'm saying Ubisoft a lot, but
right.
Ubisoft is responsible. They've done it a lot.
Right.
Asking people to pre-order their game 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
And like I don't pre-order games. You know, I pre-ordered one game in my life, and it was Dark Souls 2.
Yeah. In fact, I've started buying real late.
Yeah.
Like I'll wait till reviews are out, and that's another thing with reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, embargoes and stuff.
And I mean, especially when it comes to brand image, if your brand image is besmirched, you're pretty much dead.
Did you hear about Assassin's Creed Unity embargo?
No, what happened?
The embargo was, in place for 48 hours after the game was released. So you couldn't. People who had the game early couldn't review it early for consumers.
Right.
They couldn't say anything about it. They couldn't show gameplay of it. Blah blah. That stuff until after the game came out.
Yeah.
In which case, either A, people aren't informed, so they're gonna buy it.
Right.
Without knowing if it's good or bad, or B,
Yeah.
people aren't informed and they're not gonna buy it.
Right. I know Total Biscuit had a.
Yeah, Total Biscuit did a thing about that.
Yeah, that's just not. That's not good. I'm curious what is entailed in these embargoes. If you can't, I mean, sure, you might not be able to show any footage, but can you give your opinion of it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think that's the thing they're trying to avoid, though, because if someone puts out, especially if someone knows that their game isn't ready to be released,
right?
Someone knows, yeah, our game is, our game isn't,
Shite.
Yeah, it's not where it needs to be. It's gonna need a day 1 patch. It's gonna
Right.
need a day 2 patch.
Yeah.
It's gonna need a day 3. Like people, they don't want people knowing.
Yeah.
That hey, our game's not ready for you to play yet.
That's almost getting the Comcast levels of bullcrappery. But yeah, I know. And an interesting tactic though also is Star Citizen.
That's weird
because
it's so different.
Because, they've announced it, right, but they keep on putting out these little, not even trailers. I love it because they what you looking for? A pin.
Yeah.
They keep on bringing out these trailers. Oh, we're just gonna. All right, that seems good with me. But I love it because they keep on bringing out these trailers that aren't necessarily even trailers. They're advertisements. They're in-game advertisements for the companies in-game. It's beautiful. It's interesting. It's new. But it also keeps up the hype without saying, "Hey, we're still here."
Yeah.
It doesn't break character.
Exactly.
Which is what I like.
And I mean, a lot of the things, going back to like AAA game releases and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of these older companies, who got big off of who got big off from a certain game, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And what I'm heading toward now is like Halo.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, more recently we've seen Halo 2 pop back up, or the Halo Master Chief Collection, which is basically a better version of Halo.
Right.
And you have these companies, which I don't agree with at all, like releasing refurbished versions of their games to make. I mean, it's solid business practice, I guess, but I just feel like people should move on.
Yeah, we shouldn't be getting into the habit of that.
Yeah, because I bought Halo 10 years ago.
Why do you need to buy it?
Why do I need to buy it again? You
Yeah.
know, other than the fact that hey, it looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
Or hey, it has more frames per second in it now. Like
Yeah.
and I feel like that's. I mean, it's personally, I think it's kind of a cop out on like the industry side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't see the point in playing a game like that. I personally, I can't. I don't play games twice usually.
Yeah.
Especially games like Halo, like shooter games. There are a few exceptions, like games with like very high end multiplayer.
Yeah.
But then again, like, why not just make a new Halo, or why not just ride out like whatever, like Destiny?
Yeah.
Like I don't.
I'll give, and I kind of want to give slight props to EA here. They had made their big business model was kind of put out whatever. They had strong sewing, I think like 06, 07.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they kind of got into the groove of those yearly games too, especially the yearly sports games.
Mm-hmm.
But then they hit a real rough patch right up until pretty much like right about now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what games came up. I remember like when they released Origin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that
Origin platform was awful when it was first released. A lot of people. I don't know if it still is, but I mean, a lot of people refuse to use it and still refuse to use it because, I mean, first off, trying to be competitive with Valve, and in their Steam, their Steam client.
I guess the bad thing there is that Valve has gotten so ingrained.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Steam first came out, everyone hated it too. What the hell is this?
Yeah, but we've come so far in terms of like having a community,
right?
Because now, like I'm guilty of it. I won't buy a game unless it's on Steam.
Yeah,
I
think. Well, when was Steam released? Like 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's been around for a while, and it's changed a lot.
I mean, I think like the Steam we have now.
Right, but I mean,
that
Origin, I think has gotten better. For one, I believe they actually do have better customer support.
Yeah, that was a big flaw in the beginning. They have better customer support, but I do believe that they have. I mean, they have a bigger library now.
The problem
games
is it's that, and still, I think they need still a bigger library. The problem is that, the only thing that you buy on Origin is going to be, EA games. So I'm not going to go to Origin unless I need an EA game, which isn't that often.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is that they're starting to listen to their community, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've said we don't want to be America's worst company anymore.
Yeah, so given that baton to
you really don't want that unless you're Comcast or Time Warner. They'll just fly it like a flag. But let's hope our stream doesn't get shut down right now. But
we're on Comcast right now.
Yeah. But I mean, that's harking back to what we said earlier. Just listening to your community is a big thing.
I think that's a big reason why we have things like the esports scene,
right?
And just like any like online community as a whole growing.
Yeah.
Or like the way things develop now is that it's not like we don't have to get together at some convention center.
Right.
We don't have to do anything. Like I can sit in my chair at home.
Here's the thing.
And talk to someone across the world about
today. You don't go out. You don't buy a CD and you don't take it into your living room and put it into your thing. You download off the internet, and we are able to communicate a lot better. And game developers don't have to guess anymore about what customers want. Customers will flat out tell you, very loudly and in raging comments, but they'll still tell you
in all caps, dude.
Exactly,
in all caps. They might even bold it.
They'll still tell you, and I think that's one thing that game developers really have to keep in mind nowadays.
Yeah, I definitely think that plays a big part in like why the industry is how it is now.
Yeah,
and I feel like yes, there are bad habits that should be broken soon.
Right.
Harking back to DLC, day one patches and stuff like that, and day one DLC. Like, hey, here's our game, but you can't have all of it.
Yeah,
I think that's. I don't have a problem with like DLC, but like you come out with your game and like you have day one DLC. Like, here's extra campaigns.
Yeah.
Right as the game comes out, like.
Yeah.
Like maybe like 6 months down the road.
Sure.
Like, you have like a completely different story.
Yeah.
To tell, like maybe
I think
or make a new game.
Borderlands the pre-sequel had, I think, a new character relatively quick. I think it was like a month afterwards, and I was kind of like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, and that's something I wouldn't expect from 2K.
Well, it's not. Well, it's 2K Australia now.
Oh, okay.
And they made a big showing off that they were 2K Australia.
Oh, really?
Because pretty much they went to the moon, and the moon was like the Australia of Pandora, and everyone had like an Australian accent, and I actually really like the Australian accent, but God, these people were annoying. They just, I think it was just it wasn't the writing that I've come to love from Borderlands. I mean, Borderlands 1 writing was amazing,
and it was funny that the sense of humor, which is why I grew to love Borderlands so much. Is that it was a different game,
Yeah.
There was a sense of there was everything. There was everything a good game needed.
Yeah.
Good writing, a sense of like humor, but also a good story to tell.
Right. Borderlands 2, it was it was solid.
I thought it was a good game. I didn't have a problem with Borderlands 2.
Yeah, but Borderlands TPS, I was not.
I haven't played it yet, so I can't give my consumer opinion.
Right. It used to be done by Gearbox.
There we go.
I think 2K came in with it for 2, and because 1 was like all Gearbox, with 2K publisher. 2 was like Gearbox and 2K kind of, and 3 was pretty much 2K Australia. It might just be something that they need to test the waters with. But
yeah.
All right, back on track. MLG qualifiers. Hit it.
I don't know anything about the MLG qualifiers.
You don't know anything?
No, I thought I'm totally blanking right now.
What? Why did we write this down then? Why is this on my paper?
Well, did you see what I did?
Oh, you put it over it? Oh no, you put it under it on mine. Okay, all right. Sorry.
Well, I want to talk about the MLG qualifiers, but I kind of want to wait till we get a little closer
to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just are like it's just the emoji thing as a whole. So sorry about that.
That's
I really want to talk about it today, but I had a sudden change of heart during this.
We'll go for 95% professional for this stream. All right. Then I guess our next topic was talking about Sony and North Korea and the interview.
The hack of the century.
Exactly. The century. And by century we mean this quarter in internet terms.
Yes.
Who's gonna remember it? No, I was funny. My brother was like, "You need to go watch it. I was watching the YouTube year in review. He's like, 2014 is okay. He's like, go back and watch 2013 again, right? So I'm watching the 2013, and I'm like, that was 2013? That was 2013? I was like, I thought that was this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just everything's just so compact now.
Exactly.
But anyway, all right. But so they stole a bunch of sensitive Sony files, all in. Playing footsies.
That was weird.
All in the name of stopping the Seth Rogen James Franco movie, The Interview.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, first off, the whole what the movie is about is basically James Franco, Seth Rogen assassinate successfully
Kim Jong-un.
Yes.
Right.
And I don't think North Korea took that very kindly.
I'm surprised North Korea heard of it.
Right? With their private internets.
Yeah, exactly. Someone apparently their entire internet was down today.
Wow.
People think it was like a massive DDoS attack. Someone on Reddit suggested that South Korea had changed their Wi-Fi password.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I think about that. I read some of actually recently there was an update about it. Basically, they were like, if you guys, originally it was any theater that decides to show the interview will get
bombed.
Yeah, we'll get bombed.
Yeah.
And theaters were like, we don't want that. That's not very good business practice.
Right. You generally don't want destruction of your property.
Exactly. And then and this might be the order might flip flop, but then North Korea was like, Sony, we don't want people seeing this movie at all.
Yeah.
Well, so Sony decided that they weren't going to do a theatrical release.
Well,
right?
All right. So then what had happened is that North Korea
Zach was
hacked.
there.
I was there.
Zach knows.
I was in North Korea. I just got back from the trip.
Yeah, I had to get picked up from the airport today.
Yeah,
after
getting a prisoner swap.
Yeah, it was pretty long. It was a pretty long trip.
Yeah, we put James Franco in to get me out. But what had happened was that North Korea had stolen the files.
Oh, there's a comment on the stream. This stream is being recorded by North Korean government.
It probably is.
If Kim Jong is publicly insulted on stream, you'll be arrested. Sincerely, North Korean government.
All right, seems good.
Thank
you. We appreciate that. But so what is happening on Summit's stream?
His stream is over, dude.
That's weird. He has an outro?
Yeah, he has an outro and an intro.
Oh,
dude. The outro's dope, dude.
We're down to 90% professional. We don't have an outro. All right, but
continue.
Yeah, so North Korea had stolen the files, right? And they kind of apparently they kind of started releasing them, and they released that threat. And the theaters were like, "Oh, we don't want to do it," and Sony's like, "All right, I guess if no one wants to do it, we'll just pull the release entirely."
Yeah.
And then Obama's like, "That's a bad idea," and Sony's like, "Well, fine, we'll release it anyway." And North Korea is now like, "Hey, I hate you guys. Don't do that."
Yeah,
or at least North Korea isn't. The hackers are.
Yeah,
which are believed to be North Korean.
Yeah, and the thing is now they're saying they don't want any DVD release now. They're like, oh, you guys, no home can see it.
Yeah.
They don't want it to be pirated at all.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna not happen. Originally I didn't want to see the movie. It's not that I didn't want to see it. Now I just
Seth Rogen and James Franco film,
yeah, right.
It was going to be
bound
funny.
To be bad.
Well, it was going to be a bad movie, but it was going to be like a funny bad movie.
I don't think so.
I think it would have been. I don't think it was worth the watch, but it would have been funny a little bit.
It is not something that I would spend. How long was it? I don't know, like an hour or something.
Yeah.
Do they get?
Either way,
is there 30 minutes of footage in this movie?
Even though originally I didn't want to.
Probably an hour of graphics and 30 minutes of footage.
But even though originally I didn't want to, I wasn't like, oh yeah, the interview.
Right.
I really want to know, like, what did North Koreans see
Yeah,
that made them so mad?
No, what was fun? No, it was my brother. Right, we're planning on going on seeing a movie Christmas Eve, but I'm like, oh, Jared, the interview, they're back out to showing it. We got to go see it again, right? And Jared's like, oh, you want to go watch the interview? I'm like, no, not really. I don't really want to watch it, but I just I don't know. Sony's playing this real weird. Someone had come up with the idea that Sony hacked themselves and released because they knew the movie was gonna bomb, so they wanted to get it out. But you know, it's whatever. Sony's doing that.
Either
Obama
way,
says,
what do you think they should do? Like, if you were Sony, if Zach was Sony,
finish working on Community. Never talk to James Franco again. That would be my opinion. But no, if they actually had to make the decision, I would say, I don't know. It's North Korea. Do we know if they have nukes yet?
I mean,
Are they going to be peasants strapped to them?
Part of me thinks. Part of me thinks they could be bluffing.
Yeah.
Like who? I just feel like that's very outlandish. Hey, you made a fictional film.
Well, I just think any movie theater that shows it will be bombed. No one has the resources to bomb every single movie theater.
Exactly, and even then, like how? Like I don't think that's possible.
Right.
You know.
I think that Sony should never have pulled it to begin with. Honestly, I think the movie theater shouldn't have pulled it to begin with. And if I was a movie theater owner, I would say, hey, if my neighbors are pulling it, come watch here.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So,
business practice.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe beef up your
security a little
bit, but I don't think it's necessary to shut it down.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, it's super unfortunate. I mean, regardless of if you like,
if you like James Franco or not.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
There was money spent. Time into it.
They put time and money into it, and I mean,
I gotta have respect for the crew members, all the gaffers, all the grips, all the boom mic people.
Like anyone who was involved in it.
That's their money.
Yeah.
So,
which is it's super unfortunate, because these films are made, with a budget, and budgets are spent with the thought that hey, I'm gonna make this money back, I'm gonna make a profit, Right. And the fact that that the movie can't be released is really really shitty.
Yeah.
So,
but nonetheless, I mean, it happened. I'm not sure where the current state is. I don't know if it's being released anywhere near us. Is it?
I don't think so. I know there was a big like New York premiere of it.
Premiere.
There's a premiere in New York. That's the only time it's been shown. Protestamere.
Yeah,
I
would be shocked if it did not show up on the internet in some capacity somewhere.
Yeah, all the trailers were pulled from YouTube and stuff.
If Sony doesn't release it, there will be a second set of hackers to hack into Sony and find
come on anonymous. Come on 4chan.
Yeah,
we can do it to iCloud. We can do it to Sony.
Wow, what that's like that's twice or thrice in the last 5 years that Sony has been.
Yeah, they got. I think their PlayStation Network got hacked.
The PlayStation Network got hacked.
It took a bunch of credit card numbers and stuff.
Recently, and then it was DDoS recently, and then this. So not a good showing for Sony. Not a good year.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we've already talked about delaying games pretty much. But we got sponsorships and esports.
Last thing we talk about sponsorships.
I kind of wanted to. Whenever I had segued into delaying games earlier, I kind of also wanted to talk about sponsorships because we had talked about that's where the money is, and that's where the money is. That's I
don't know who's in the Twitch chat, but
who
name? Is this 4chan? A hacker named 4chan.
Exactly. But yeah, that's where the money is, and I mean I appreciate seeing big names start to contribute to it. I don't think we've seen. Have we seen Coca-Cola yet?
Coke, no.
When Coca-Cola gets on, that's
it's pretty big.
But
I mean, a lot
Intel,
of them are more
AMD,
all the technology brands. I mean, you have your big brands like Red Bull and Monster do everything.
Yeah, Red Bull.
Everything.
Red Bull is really interesting because they'll pull their athletes out and actually physically train them.
Yeah,
and I know they've taken some people and put them under EKGs.
Like, monitors and stuff.
Yeah,
all the playing games and stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, and like we've said before, it's there may not be that much physical exertion when you're playing games, so there's definitely a lot of mental exertion, and I mean you do need good hand-eye coordination. But I just like seeing sponsors come in. I like seeing new brands. I think that's what's really going to make it mainstream. We've seen, the thing that got Twitch on the radar was Amazon buying them, and
which was a bold move from Amazon.
It is. We talked about it last time, and I don't necessarily.
No one else saw it, so
yeah, I don't necessarily want to go fully into detail about it, but
yeah.
I guess if that's what it takes to bring it onto the radar, that's what needs to happen. But yeah, I'd love to see bigger names. I'm surprised that I guess Google hasn't really sponsored anyone ever.
Yeah, I don't think Google does that.
Yeah,
Google's their own thing.
Yeah,
currently.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But let's see. But yeah, I'd love to see a Coke sponsorship. I think that'd be really cool. I think you could use it too.
I mean, there's a lot of like T-Mobile sponsors a bunch of crap.
That's true.
You have all the graphics card companies and stuff, or like Intel.
Pretty much anyone that makes a part for a computer is gonna
sponsor it, or like
Corsair.
accessories, like mice, keyboards, even mats or gunner glasses and stuff.
Yeah, but I'd like to see some bigger names start to
Let's
take
get
this
some
role.
Ford truck monitors.
Ford truck monitors? No, I don't need Ford truck monitors. I'll take Ford truck transportation to and from the LAN tournaments.
There you go. For free. That's
exactly, for free. You can get one of their what's their like premier SUV class type thing.
I don't even know.
Escalade? I don't know.
I don't drive Ford.
Exactly. We'll get Teslas.
There we go. We'll have Tesla SUVs.
I don't think Elon Musk could go for that. But shoot.
Kind of a dead end now.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. I guess we can kind of end it early. 50 minutes. It's a good showing.
We're aiming for about an hour every Monday night.
But pretty much that's what that's going to be.
Just giving our
totally
expert opinions.
Exactly.
On
we'll say expert, not professional. Expert
opinions.
Not amateur either. Expert.
There you go.
But
yeah, it was
a little bit rough today.
Yeah, it was.
I think
we're kind of rushing ourselves,
Yeah, I had to get out of a work shift that would have.
Yeah. So we're still trying to get our schedule concrete and stuff. So
good news is, this Christmas I'm getting more gear.
We're getting more toys.
Exactly, and I promise you, we're going to at least double, nay, triple the professionality of our stream.
Totally, we're gonna be so pro. I mean, it doesn't matter. No one watches it anyway.
Exactly, but
and we can't really speak very well either. But
we're talking about 95% production value right
professional.
Here. But appreciate those guys who watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to check us out Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central,
8 or
9 p.m. Central. One of those.
Time between 8 and 9.
Yeah. Pretty much just go ahead, follow us on Twitch so that you'll get the email alerts for when we go live. When we go live, you'll know that you got like about 10 minutes to 30 minutes.
10 minutes to an hour.
To get on the stream and start watching us.
There we go.
Hopefully we'll be able to start putting up what topics we're actually going to be talking about that day as well.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, that's how it's going to roll in the future.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a little smoother next time.
Exactly.
Still, this is our second showing. So.
And but anyway, thank you for watching 2 to Tango. My name is Renhaka.
My name is Brashizi.
And that's our show.